Hey, this is Coach Josh here, Training for Warriors, and I want to talk a little bit about long-term success and micro progression. So I think those two things go hand in hand because if you want to build muscle, burn fat, feel good, you got to have a plan. And you probably want to be healthy and fit, not just in your 20s or 30s, but in your 40s and 50s and ongoing. You probably want to be a healthy 80-year-old and feel good and do the things that you want to do as best you can. So for long-term success, you have to be able to utilize the power of habit and leverage some skills and some tactics along the way to help you continually succeed as your life situation changes. So just for the sake of this conversation, I want to talk a little bit about the difference between habits, tactics, and strategies. So habits are things that create the outcome, the desired outcome. So they're things that you do all the time. You almost do them without thinking. It's essentially, I've heard the term automaticity, so the automated actions that you take every day. And a lot of us will get up at the same time, drink a cup of coffee or a glass of water. These habits are on autopilot to a certain extent, and they create our health outcome that we experience most of the time. And when you change one of these habits, and you successfully change a habit, the body, your body and your life becomes an expression of that change. So in the case of leaning out, eating to 80% full, eating slowly, and eating veggies with each meal, those are habits that once you get into the habit of, they consistently create a certain outcome. These can consistently help you to remain lean and vibrant. The tactic is the small piece of the small skill or the thing that you execute that helps create the habit. So if you're trying to eat to just 80% full, you might get a smaller plate and use that smaller plate to eat off of, so that you're intuitively going to put less food on, and you're going to have a pile of food that's going to fall off. And so that tactic makes it easy to set up the habit, makes it easier to set up the habit. So if you're trying to instill in yourself the habit of eating to 80% full, you try to use smaller plates, and you can also execute the tactic of putting your fork down as you eat. So you take a bite of food and you set down the fork and relax your hands, and that slows down your eating so that you can feel your sense of fullness before you get too full or oversatiated. So that these tactics help support these habits. And the term micro-progression comes along as when you're trying to add a habit in. If, let's say I'm trying to get veggies in with every meal. Well, maybe I'll begin to build the skill of batch cooking, but instead of batch cooking all of my food, I'll just batch cook vegetables so that I have a steady supply of roasted cauliflower and broccoli in the fridge at all times, so that I can really easily add it to any meal that I'm eating, so I stay in compliance with this new habit, thereby making it easier. So even though I'm batch cooking, I'm only batch cooking one specific thing. It's a micro skill, or it's a part of a skill, or it's a baby step to help me get to where I need to go. And the idea of strategies are any usually that's an interlaced set of tactics that are trying to create a specific outcome. So on intermittent fasting, well, it means to only eat within a certain window, whether your window is 6 hours, 12 hours, or however long your window is. Your tactics will be to not have food available when you're outside of your eating window. Your tactic may be to drink coffee or green tea to suppress your appetite while you're outside of your eating meal. And there may be all kinds of skills that you are all buried into that one strategy of intermittent fasting to create the fat loss or the muscle growth that you're trying to create. And there's no bad strategies, I guess. Any strategy might be useful to you, and depending on where you're at in life. The key is choosing the right habits and tactics to support those habits in the right situation. So if you're in a situation where you just started a new job and the school year just started, so your kids are going to a new school and you want to lose some weight. It's probably not the time to implement a strategy that's brand new that requires a bunch of new tactics and skills to develop. It would probably be a better strategy at that time to have a more sustainable, less intensive, habit-based program to use as your nutrition focus, to then increase your commitment to new nutrition tactics as you have more bandwidth become available. And there's a time where if you've got the energy and the excitement and you have the time to prepare, maybe doing intermittent fasting or getting in a high-fat diet that requires a lot of batch cooking and preparation, maybe that is the right strategy for you to execute. The key is to use the appropriate strategy and habit at the appropriate time for the outcome that you want. And that takes a little bit of self-awareness, a little bit of practice, and a little bit of help. So reading articles and books and talking to other people who've been successful in your situation, those are all things that can help you out. And obviously a coach or anybody who's standing outside of the picture will be able to help you find what next step makes the most logical sense for you. So this is Coach Josh, Training for Warriors Portland, talking about habits, tactics, and strategies that will help you build muscle, burn fat, and feel good so that you can bring out the warrior within.